Good afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez and you're watching Solar Newsday. For our top story today, President Aquino led the proclamation rally of the administration coalition, also known as Team Pinoy, at the historic Plaza Miranda yesterday. The rally was attended by an estimated 8,000 to 9,000 people. The president said his administration's reforms will only continue if all 12 Liberal Party bets are elected. President Aquino again took a swipe at their opponents, some of whom he says are allies of his predecessor. Team Pinoy is holding its first out-of-town campaign in Batangas. AC Nichols is there to give us the latest. Go ahead, AC.
Good afternoon, Mai. After its proclamation rally in Plaza Miranda yesterday, the Liberal Party moved its campaign outside Metro Manila. LP's first stop is Batangas City, the capital city of the province of Batangas, which is a vote-rich province with roughly around 1.3 million voters in the 2010 election. The 12 administration senatorial candidates are expected to join today's sortie. However, we have not received official word if all candidates will be present. President Benigno Aquino will not be joining his handpicked candidates here in Batangas. We are expecting the arrival of Team Pinoy at the provincial capital, where they will be welcomed by local officials led by Batangas Governor Vilma Santos. Team Pinoy will hold a campaign rally at the Batangas Provincial Auditorium, which will be followed by a motorcade to Lipa City. Mai?
Thank you, AC. That was AC Nichols reporting on the line from Batangas. The United Nationalist Alliance took advantage of its proclamation rally in Cebu City yesterday to criticize the administration. Vice President Jejomar Binay slammed supposed pretenders in the Liberal Party senatorial slate, saying the same people opposed President Aquino back in 2010. Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile also took a swipe at the administration for passing the controversial sin tax reform and reproductive health laws. All 9 exclusive UNA senatorial bets were present in the event, while guest candidates Grace Poe Llamanzares and Senator Loren Legarda sent representatives. Senator Francis Escudero failed to send a representative, prompting UNA to exclude him and his campaign posters from the venue. The United Nationalist Alliance takes its campaign to Bohol following yesterday's absence of 3 guest candidates. Vice President Jejomar Binay says there is a possibility they will now be removed from UNA's slate. Camille Elemia is reporting live from Bohol to tell us more about this. Go ahead, Camille.
Yes, Mai. Vice President Jejomar Binay says there is a possibility that the 3 guest candidates, Senators Loren Legarda and Francis Escudero and Grace Poe Llamanzares, will be dropped from the UNA slate if the coalition will be put in a bad position. This started after Senator Francis Escudero failed to send a representative to UNA's proclamation rally yesterday. Binay also admits that UNA has indeed decided to exclude the campaign materials of Escudero from the venue yesterday. Binay and former President Joseph Estrada did not endorse Escudero on stage yesterday, with Estrada even saying he would not publicly endorse someone who will be a liability to the country. Binay, however, says it is still too early to decide, as the 3 guest candidates have committed to attending some of their sorties. Some UNA senatorial candidates, however, share Binay's sentiment. Former Senator Richard Gordon and Zambales Representative Mitos Magsaysay say the public should just decide on Escudero's political moves. Gordon says, though, the country needs a leader who takes sides, not just someone who stays in the middle. Magsaysay, for her part, says UNA's non-inclusion of Escudero serves as an initial reaction of the coalition. She also says UNA will not be weakened because of Escudero's absence. Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, meanwhile, is less worked up on the issue. Enrile says he'd personally want to campaign for the 3 as Legarda, Poe, and Escudero are close to him. Mai from Cebu una is now at Loon Bohol to conduct a rally, after which they will proceed to Tagbilaran City and they will conduct another rally there. My present here now are the 9 exclusive senatorial candidates of UNA, as well as 2 of their 3 kings, Vice President Jejomar Binay and Senate President Enrile. Mai?
Thank you, Camille. That was Camille Elemia reporting to us live from Bohol. Commission on Elections Chairman Sixto Brillantes warns candidates they only have 3 days left to correct campaign violations. Brillantes says although the first day of the campaign period went relatively fine, he says he himself saw many violations in the new campaign rules. But he remains optimistic that in the next few days, candidates will be more reasonable. The MMDA was also able to collect bags full of illegal campaign paraphernalia torn down from EDSA.
Wala naman akong 10 million eh. So, hindi, de-deposit natin pero kailangan magkasundo. Under negotiations pa. Antayin lang natin yung mangyayari ngayon pag nakuta namin yung report ng technical evaluation.
Now, most of the 168 families who control politics in the Philippines are fielding candidates for many of the 18,022 elective positions up for grabs in the midterm polls. In today's Inform in 100, Camille Elemia tells us the advantage of these candidates in our electoral system dominated by political dynasties.
At least 14 of the 33 senatorial candidates in the May elections come from political families. Sonny Angara, Bam Aquino, Nancy Binay, Alan Peter Cayetano, Tingting Coangco, Jack Enrile, Cheese Escudero, J.V. Estrada, Dick Gordon, Mitos Magsaysay, Ramon Magsaysay, Coco Pimentel, Cynthia Villar, and Mig Zubiri. All over the country, members of political families whose terms end run for a different post, while another family member runs for the vacated post. Sons, daughters, cousins, or wives of famous political figures are running in May, from the Marqueses, Singsons, Fariñas, Diz, Angaras, and Ortegas in the north, to the Arroyos, Magsaysays, and Gordons of Central Luzon, down to the Garcias and Osmeñas of Cebu, and the Ampatuans of Maguindanao. There are 72 Ampatuan candidates running this year. Of the 72, 32 are running under UNA, while 9 are running under the Liberal Party. Ramon Casiple of the Institute for Political and Electoral Reform says the dynastic disease is far from treated.
Usually, ang nangyayari ngayon, 2, 3, or 4 families are fighting it out sa isang pwesto. So talagang, kahit hindi mo nasabihin, sino man sa kanila manalo, malamang dynasty yun.
Casiple believes the proliferation of political dynasties is a symptom of a bigger malady in the political party system.
Are there only para sa pag-file ng candidacy, para sa mga negosasyon, or minsan sa fundraising. Pero the real power, the real decision are being made by the leaders, who happens to be, naturally, mga members of political families.
Independent senatorial candidate Ricardo Penson heads Crusada contra Dynasty. Penson challenged other senatorial candidates to enter into a covenant that will stop political dynasties. He said those who fail to comply with the covenant should resign from office. Penson recently filed a petition before the Supreme Court asking it to compel the Senate and the House of Representatives to legislate a definition of political dynasties. Article 2, Section 26 of the 1987 Constitution states, "The state shall guarantee equal access to opportunities for public service and prohibit political dynasties as may be defined by law." The problem is, to this day, Congress has yet to pass a law that defines political dynasties. According to a study of the Asian Institute of Management Policy Center, at least 115 members, or 68% of the members of the 15th Congress elected in 2010, have relatives who were members of the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th Congresses, or local officials who were elected in 2001, 2004, and 2007. Not only do political families control power, most dynasties are also big players in the local and national economy. These dynasties have interests in the largest businesses, including mining, manufacturing, logging, real estate, agriculture, media, transportation, and food. The AIMPC study also shows that based on their statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth, legislators belonging to political dynasties are richer, with an average net worth of 52 million pesos than those who do not belong to dynasties, who have an average net worth of 42 million pesos. The same study shows that political dynasties are also prominent in the country's political parties. They make up 76% of the Lakas Kampi Party, 56% of the Liberal Party, 74% of the Nationalist People's Coalition, and 81% of the Nacionalista Party. All is not lost. There have been attempts to enact legislation which bans political dynasties. In 2010, Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago filed Senate Bill 2649. A counterpart bill at the lower House of Representatives was shelved. Commission on Elections Chairman Sixto Brillantes Jr. said that if Congress fails to enact laws that will ban political dynasties, he will make it his mission to advocate what he calls an absolute prohibition of political dynasties before he retires in 2015. As long as the majority of members of Congress belong to political families, the prospect for an anti-dynasty law remains dim. Unless more drastic action is taken, the act of defining a political dynasty as mandated in the Constitution will remain in limbo. The electorate's choices in the May elections give new meaning to an old expression. It's all in the family. Camille Lemia, Solar News.
Malacanang says President Aquino's lower approval rating in the latest Pulse Asia survey may be due to negative events that occurred when the poll was conducted. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda cites the recurring squabbles in the Senate, the controversial Atimonan shooting incident, and the reported higher crime rate that may have influenced survey results. The poll, conducted from January 19 to 30, showed a 12% drop in both Aquino's approval and trust ratings. Other top national officials also posted significantly lower scores in that survey. The National Economic Development Authority sees the country's economic growth to remain at 6 to 7% for this year. The NEDA sees growing sectors to continuously drive the economy, particularly the consumption sector and the services sector led by tourism and BPO. Meantime, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas sees a 3 to 5% inflation rate this year as export remittances and trade are expected to bring in more dollars. The Philippines posted one of the highest growth rates in Asia last year, second only to China.